Over at DC Comics, the publisher recently released the new anthology series over for Batman called Batman the Brave and the Bold. I had a blast checking out the first chapter of the series, featuring a really interesting way that DC is integrating over for WildStorm continuity for a brand new Stormwatch story. Also, I really enjoyed seeing a Daredevil Marvel artist Javier Rodriguez transition over to DC for a Superman story that had incredibly bold artwork and some wonderful writing from Christopher Cantwell. My name is Araco Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and dive into the second issue of Batman the Brave and the Bold to see if DC Comics can keep the momentum going on one of their newer series. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. And I want to go ahead and introduce some context over on Batman the Brave and the Bold with DC's solicitation text for the issue. Tick, tick, tick goes the clock as Gotham prepares for another shocking murder at the hands of the Joker. The brutal and terrifying tale of the Joker and Batman's first meeting continues as Tom King and Mitch Gerads once again deliver a shocking, bloody blockbuster tale. Stormwatch race to find an ancient sword that has long been buried in the darkest depths of the ocean. A sword of unspeakable horrors capable of wiping out entire civilizations, but they may already be too late. A group of exiled shebels have found the blade and are hell-bent on bringing humanity to its knees. For one member of Stormwatch, this may be the end. All-star creator Joelle Jones gives readers a Batman black and white tale exploring Batman's scars, both literal and psychological, revisiting the Dark Knight's toughest fights and deepest wounds. In part 2 of Order of the Black Lamp from writer Christopher Cantwell and artist Javier Rodriguez, Superman uses a mysterious decoder ring to uncover a location with a shocking tie to his past. I want to go ahead and introduce the first creative team on the debut chapter, Batman the Winning Card, over in Batman the Brave and the Bold 2. This story is written by Tom King, featuring artwork from Mitch Gerads as well as colors, letters from Clayton Cowles, and the cover over on Batman the Brave and the Bold 2 is coming in directly from artist Simone Di Meo. Here's a look at Simone Di Meo's kind of fascinating cover introducing the kind of first storyline over with the Joker in the series. Of course, I want to extend a big thank you to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting this massive preview over on Batman Brave and Bold 2. Let's go ahead and dive into this Batman the Winning Card tale. So first off, in terms of the artwork for Mitch Gerads, I think Mitch Gerads as an artist is just absolutely wonderful. I love all the shading and the really complicated line that he brings over to the issue, and the way that he kind of uses these 9-panel grids along with some of these boxes that just have kind of prose over in the issue, I think is also really fascinating. The amount of panels on this page that we have up on the screen is also really, really intriguing here. I think Gerads is very ambitious over in this chapter, but for me, in my opinion, the thing still weighing this Batman the Winning Card story down is some of the writing coming in from Tom King. I particularly don't appreciate the way that King is able to render the Joker over in this series. This issue has a hard time kind of implementing the characterization for the Joker properly. At some points, he seems like he's a little sillier, but in others, he's inflicting mass murder over on the people of Gotham. So it just feels like the Joker's agenda changes depending on which page you're checking out over in the series. Also, there's some really kind of annoying elements of characterization here. Some of the scripting from Tom King that was kind of utilized over in his Wonder Woman issue in Wonder Woman 800 is still here. And just the sense of irony that he brings to his dialogue feels so forced that I think it's getting tiresome at this point. I think King really needs to invest more in what the inner thoughts of his characters and really make sure to break up kind of speech patterns over in future issues as well. I do see the potential in this story, but I think the narrative has to be written differently, and the dialogue in future Tom King comics has to be written more in tune with the characterization of some of the people making up this series. I am very, very excited to go ahead and talk about Stormwatch Down with the Kings Part 2. This one written by Ed Brisson, featuring art and color from Jeff Spokes and letters from Saida, Temofonte. This issue had such a great sense of humor, along with having that same sense of violence imbued into the series. It was really fascinating to go ahead and check in with the new Stormwatch and their kind of pursuit over on this blade, as well as kind of investigating what made so many people shipwrecked in pursuit of this item. One of the other aspects about this tale that really captured my imagination here was the fact that we finally got to see some characterization between people like Shadow, Peacekeeper 1, and Phantom 1. The way that this story is kind of blending DC concepts over with WildStorm, I think, is just really, really groundbreaking. I think there's a really subtle approach to characterization. And I also love the way that writer Ed Brisson is able to kind of implement some of the plot threads over from Batman Incorporated in terms of Phantom 1 here. I really think that Brisson is doing a wonderful job kind of building a little bit of narrative plot threads between some of his titles in the series. Also, I think the artwork from Jeff Spokes captures so much of the nuance and characterization of this series. There's a lot of moments of humor elements, and I think Jeff Spokes does a wonderful job depicting characters like Director Bones with so much precision that these elements of humor even land on a story that features a lot of violent outbursts. And there are so many funny moments in this chapter with a character called Pedro as well. I think Ed Brisson is finally kind of fleshing out the team dynamic for this new Stormwatch really, really nicely here. I am so excited to see where this one goes. I think out of all the stories in the collection, that this Stormwatch Down with the Kings comic book has the kind of biggest chance to break out as an ongoing series, and I hope we see that implemented really soon here from the same creative team. I want to go ahead and talk about the wonderful Superman Order of the Black Lamp Part 2. This one is written by Christopher Cantwell, featuring art from Javier Rodriguez and letters from Simon Bowland. This was another really fun issue that was able to implement some of Javier Rodriguez's art in some wonderful, wonderful ways here. I love the way that Christopher Cantwell kind of starts off the story by introducing some narrative ideas before heading back into kind of the script proper here. I think some of the themes that are introduced really help make this story feel even kind of better and stronger than ever before. Some of the symbolism coming in from artist Rodriguez is amazing in terms of the clouds. The way that the Dakota ring is designed over in this issue is also just absolutely wonderful here. If Christopher Cantwell is sort of implementing these themes, I love the fact that artist Rodriguez is kind of following up with those ideas with the visual implementation as well. One other really great thing about this issue is the fact that it kind of follows up on the plot thread over with the Daily Planet from the last issue with Lois Lane by having Superman kind of document what he's doing over in his daily life. And finally, I really also enjoyed this cliffhanger that brings some of the themes of the issue full circle and show that Christopher Cantwell is really paying attention to how the narrative in this issue is arranged as well. Again, here, the colors and artwork from Rodriguez are just absolutely mystifying, capture my imagination, bring so much symbolism to this book, and really, I think, kind of break up the flow of some of these stories here really, really nicely. Let's go ahead and talk about the very last story over in Batman the Brave and the Bold issue 2. This one is called All Things Considered, coming in from Joelle Jones, featuring story and art. And we have letters from Steve Wands as well. So in terms of this story, this was a great way to just catch up with Joelle Jones' really kind of magical artwork in a black and white setting over on the series. This one really focused in on the kind of legacy of Batman as a hero. We got to see so many aspects of Batman fleshed out, from Nightfall, his origins, the Batcave, as well as his relationship over with Alfred in the issue. I love the fact that there isn't really that much dialogue over in this story, but I think it serves as a wonderful vehicle to show just how talented Joelle Jones is and to flesh out so many different aspects of Batman as a character that people are so interested in. So overall here, really like the last story and think that some of these kind of collaborative pages with so many fascinating design elements also should kind of tap into your imagination and really show you how much different kind of comic book art can be. Because I think the way that Javier Rodriguez will depict a page versus how Joelle Jones draws a page is just so different. But watching two fantastic artists at DC contribute to one comic book is another really exciting proposition over from the publisher. So at the end of the day here, I think we have another really fantastic issue over for Batman the Brave and the Bold. This book has done a wonderful job arranging such talented creators across all these separate stories. Really like what Joelle Jones brought over to her chapter of the issue, and I'm really hoping that this Stormwatch comic book will lead to an ongoing series at the future of DC. Also, would really love for Ed Brisson and Jeff Spokes to be attached over to this title. I want to know from you, what are some of your thoughts over on Batman the Brave and the Bold? Are you enjoying this anthology series from DC? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming and check out our content. And we'll be back soon to cover everything DC Comics and Stormwatch. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.